Hello and welcome to another installment of #Find Out More Friday. Today's subject that we're covering is lists and managing lists in SuperOffice. My name's Tony Poole, and I'm just going to take us through step by step some tips on managing lists for best performance and easy readability. Okay, I'm here in SuperOffice in the admin module. I'm going to select lists, and the list I'm going to start with, we'll start with a contacts, Mr. and Mrs. As you'll be aware, if you're managing lists within SuperOffice, you can create custom lists for UDFs, and there's lists for most of the drop-down boxes within SuperOffice. So salutation here, we have Mr., Miss, Mrs., Ms., and Doctor. However, when we want to manage a list and make it easier to read when it's a little bit bigger, we have the ability to switch on group filtering. So a great example of this, if I show you one on my demonstration system here, would be company interests. With company interests, I'm in a position where I can decide which groups of users this list is visible to. I can decide the headings that each of my options should come under. So here we have reference account. It is available to everybody in the business, but it is only shown under a subheading of account management. And I'll show you this in a moment in SuperOffice. If I come here to the heading wedge mounts, I see that this is available under support and leveling industrial machinery. This means that I'm categorizing each of my list options to be shown under a heading. Now, to switch this on, I'm using the use group and filtering by user group for this list. If we just go back to the contacts, you'll notice this is not switched on. What we can do, just to have a look at it, is we can actually pick another heading and switch it on. So let's go for business. I'm going to use grouping and filtering. This then switches on my headings and my visibility for user groups. As you'll know from lists, I can add lists or add to lists very simply. So if we put something in here now, we'll go for a heading. Let's put motor trade. As is always good, it's good to fill in the description and save. Now there's one distinct thing I'd like to make you aware of here, which is happening in what we're doing here by selecting motor trade. What's happened is, because I've switched user group and filtering on, any of the existing fields are not showing to any visible users. So what I have to do is make sure that I either select all or individually select the departments that can see this heading. So I'm just going to go through very quickly and select all. That's quite a fundamental that comes through to support saying my list is no longer visible. So you have to make the assumption that when you switch on use group filtering, that nobody is set as default. However, what is interesting, if I get down here now, is of course motor trade, which I've just created, has selected all the visible twos. Okay, so then we have the ability to select headings. So here we can create now headings that we want to break down this list into. So what we might have here is consumer focused. And I'm going to repeat my description. Slow down there a little. And I'm going to put commercially focused. Okay. That's now given me 2 headings, excuse me, which I can insert any of these headings under. So we'll start at the top, legal. We'll say it's commercially focused legal, business and banking, insurance, IT, graphics, trade, hotels and restaurants, consumer focused, industry generically. It's not the best list to work with, but it's a good starting point. Distributors, public sector, services, and the motor trade, which I'm going to put under consumer focused. Other things to be aware of when we're looking at this, if we see at the bottom here, we have the ability to move things up and down our list. We have the ability to reorder our headings by simply using the arrow keys in the bottom right-hand side. So let's see the effect of what we've created now. We'll look at it for both business interests and business types. I'm now switching to SuperOffice. And I am going to select a company. In selecting the company and me pressing edit, I have my business type. Okay, I see my commonly used ones at the top, which is always updated, but I now have 2 subheadings, focused on consumer, focused on commercial. So by using the heading, I can actually shorten my lists considerably. Now let's look at that under interests. Okay, so here we have the headings that we created, clearly showing under interests, with individual tick boxes for the business interest underneath each of its headings. If we feel that account management is more important, we can reorder the headings. This allows me to make the screens more interesting in the fact that everything is broken down and we can find things more easily. Okay, so let's just recap by going back into the settings. And let's have a look at lists. And if we pick company interests, which is the first one we looked at, here we have the interests. We've switched on grouping. We know who in the business is allowed to see that information. And we know what heading it is to appear under. And just re-emphasizing the point I made a little while ago, if I wanted account management to be at the top of the list, I can use the arrows to move account management to the top. So I'm defining the order of the headings, which in turn defines the order of my list. Let's go and look at business. And again, the company business type. We've introduced those headings. And I am individually telling the system which list option to put under which heading. This makes it really simple to change the way that lists are presented and makes them easier to manage for the users of the system. So thanks for attending #FindOutMoreFriday.